Good morning, Beacon. Welcome, one and all, to our virtual Beacon. Here we are still committed, as ever, now more than ever, to being a radically inclusive religious community, one that feeds the human spirit and heals the world. Our mission has taken on new meaning this week. Radically inclusive looks like not being all together, but instead coming together through the technology that is available to us, and we are so glad that you are here. So on behalf of all of us at Beacon, we hope that you are well this day, in body, in mind, and in spirit. And so we come together, we have washed our hands, we have worked through the technology, letting go of the frustration of technology, just like we would have let go of the frustration of parking on Waldron and the surrounding area. You know what I'm talking about. We have put away the distractions that are all around us wherever you are. As I know that when I am showing up technologically, I am often multitasking, and I have to remind myself to just do this one thing. And so we invite you to be here now, be together with us. And so we come together. Let us be together.
We begin with kindling the light of our chalice, and I invite you, if you're in a home with a candle, to perhaps kindle that candle now if you have a chalice, to do so. If you're able to fix your eyes perhaps to the light coming in from the outside, or just hold that light in your mind's eye. You'll see in a moment an image, if you're at the 9:30 of Melanie Davis, a new member to our community who is kindling the chalice, and at the 11 a.m., Connor Hendricks. These are the words of Lynn Ungar, Unitarian Universalist. Pandemic. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling, give up, just for now, on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, for long as we all shall live.
Good morning, everybody. For today's Time for All Ages, I want to share with you a story, something that I've been learning in my online meditation class. I know that many of you are going to be engaged in online learning, and it makes it so much more fun when we can share it with one another. So what I've been learning about has to do with our theme for the month, freedom and responsibility. So for most of our time, we are generally free, But with our freedom comes some responsibility. For instance, if you see this image of this person running in the woods, he's just out having his early morning exercise. He's going pretty full tilt and at a fast pace. If he were to see you approaching him or a group of people, it would be his responsibility to try and avoid them. Similarly, imagine if you're this person having your early morning run in the woods and you see a group of people coming towards you. It's your responsibility to try and avoid them. Now, sometimes what happens in our lives is we encounter not necessarily groups of people, but a lot of stress. Stress could be anything. It could be having to prepare for a test. It could be having to think about these next 2 weeks, preparing for online learning. It could be that your grandparents perhaps aren't able to come visit, or you can't have a play date with your best friend. So think about some stressful time in your life. Got it? Great. And now usually what stress does goes like this. Here's you, here's stress, and usually stress goes like this. And it knocks us flat. You try it. Here's you, here's stress, comes towards you, and it knocks us flat. And the question is, can we do something else with the stress that we encounter? Can we perhaps, like the runner, not crash into people, but avoid, move around, maybe even pause, slow down, stop and say hello, maybe even change and begin to dance so that the stress does not knock us flat and take over our whole lives. I invite you to spend some time thinking about this and the ways in which you might be able to not be knocked flat, but instead avoid, pause, meet, shift, and change. Here ends our story.
We are living in a time, isn't it? It's a time in which our minds and bodies are susceptible to such high anxiety, and our spirits are being tested. So today in our prayer, let us try to renew ourselves in mind, in body, and in spirit. Let's offer each one of those components of our bodies a gift of a breath, a breather, if you will, from the constant onslaught of fear and worry. I've heard lots of people this week say that the gift of this time is that we can still go out into nature. And so our meditation is going to focus on that, not as a way to remove ourselves from what's going on, but as a way of giving ourselves a breather. So throughout this prayer, I will say a repeating call. I will say the cue, Spirit of Life. And I invite you to respond out loud wherever you are. Be with us now. Let's practice. Spirit of Life,
be with us now.
Sit quietly. Bring to mind a favorite place in nature. A place that you really love to go. It could actually be your front or backyard. Maybe the trellis that you have on a balcony. However you go out around where you live. Maybe that's your favorite place. It could be a trail in the woods that leads to a waterfall, or a stream, or river, where you have swum or canoed.
Maybe what you're thinking of is the ocean at sunset. Wherever your favorite place in nature is, go there in your mind. Spirit of life,
Be with us now.
as you allow yourself to focus on that place, feel the one aspect that keeps bringing you back there. It might be the wind, not the truck passing by right now. It could be the sound of waves as they hit the sand and the crinkle that happens as the ocean dissipates. It could be the way that the light reflects on trees, on grass, on each one we meet. So focus on that one aspect. Zero in on it like it's the only thing that matters. Spirit of life,
Be with us now.
in your mind, enlarge that one aspect and enter it more fully. I want you to try to become the wind, the waves, the light. Transform yourself in your imagination, in your mind, into a blade of grass, a leaf, a drop of water. Let go of who you are and allow yourself to be something different. And let it give you the freedom from being you. Allow it the freedom to inhabit a different way of being. Spirit of life,
Be with us now.
breathing slowly. Let what you love about this place, about this part of the natural world, teach you how you too are like the wind. You are like the water and the light. How each one of us is a part of one another, each and all woven together. Spirit of life,
Be with us now.
amen. In the days ahead, I invite you to use this as a practice, that anytime you are feeling overwhelmed, I invite you to think, Spirit of life, be with us now, and allow yourself to go to that place. Allow it to renew you. And as you reach out to people who feel overwhelmed, ask them to practice the same thing. See if it helps. Be well.
Wash Your Hands by Dory Midnight. We are humans relearning to wash our hands. Washing our hands is an act of love. Washing our hands is an act of care. Washing our hands is an act that puts the hyper-vigilant body at ease. Washing our hands helps us return to ourselves by washing away what does not serve. Wash your hands, like you are washing the only teacup left that your great-grandmother carried across the ocean, like you are washing the hair of a beloved who is dying, like you are washing the feet of Grace Lee Boggs, Beyonce, Jesus, your auntie, Audre Lorde, Mary Oliver, you get the picture. Like this water is poured from a jug your best friend just carried for 3 miles from the spring they had to climb a mountain to reach. Like water is a precious resource made from time and miracle. Wash your hands and cough into your elbow, they say. Rest more, stay home, drink water, have soup, they say. To which I would add, burn some plants your ancestors burned when there was fear in the air. Boil some aromatic leaves in a pot on your stove until your windows steam up. Open your windows. Eat a piece of garlic every day. Tie a clove around your neck. Breathe. My friends, it is always true, these things. It has already been time. It is always true that we should move with care and intention, asking, do you want to bump elbows instead? With everyone we meet. It is always true that people are living with one lung, with immune systems that don't work so well, or perhaps work too hard, fighting against themselves. It is already true that people are hoarding the things that the most vulnerable need. It is already time that we might want to fly on airplanes less and not go to work when we are sick. It is already time that we might want to know who in our neighborhood has cancer, who has a new baby, who is old with children in another state, who has extra water, who has a root cellar, who is a nurse, who has a garden full of elecampane and nettles. It is already time that temporarily non-disabled people think about people living with chronic illness and disabled folks. That young people think about old people. It is already time to stop using synthetic fragrances to not smell like bodies, to pretend like we're all not dying. It is already time to remember that those scents make so many of us sick. It is already time to not take it personally when someone doesn't want to hug you. It is already time to slow down and feel how scared we are. We are already afraid. We are already living in the time of fires. When fear rises, and it will, let it wash over your whole body instead of staying curled up tight in your shoulders. If your heart tightens, contract and expand. Science says compassion strengthens the immune system. We already know that, but capitalism gives us amnesia and tricks us into thinking it's the thing that protects us. But it's the way we hold the thing, the way we do the thing. Those of us who have forgotten amuletic traditions, we turn to hoarding hand sanitizer and masks. We find someone to blame. We think that will help. Want to blame something? Blame capitalism. Blame patriarchy. Blame white supremacy. It is already time to remember to hang garlic on our doors, to dip our handkerchiefs in thyme tea, to rub salt on our feet, to pray the rosary, kiss the mezuzah, cleanse with an egg. In the middle of the night, when you wake up with terror in your belly, it is time to think about stardust and geological time, redwoods and dance parties and mushrooms remediating toxic soil. It is time to care for one another, to pray over water, to wash away fear every time we wash our hands.
For our offering this morning, we are going to focus on two things that keep us grounded: generosity and gratitude. For generosity, you will need either your smartphone and a credit card or your checkbook if you don't have a smartphone. If you have your checkbook, we invite you to make out a check to Beacon, hopefully with an amount larger than you would normally give. Even though we have suspended services and most gatherings, Operation Warm Heart continues, serving the most vulnerable in our community, the ones who do not have access to healthcare and who really have no place to be and who come to Beacon every morning at 8:30. The group of volunteers continue to support them, and so your generosity is greatly appreciated. If you have a credit card and a smartphone, now is the time on your smartphone to start a new message. Enter these numbers: 978-203-5733, 978-203-5733. With this text message, you will be asked to enter your credit card number and to follow the prompts with the amount that you want to give. Thank you so much for your generosity. The other thing that keeps us grounded is gratitude. Today, we are grateful for one very special person who has been with us for 13 years and who is about to move out of New Jersey to warmer climates. Her name is Karen Jackson, and she has a message for us. When you have finished listening to the message, please send your messages of gratitude to Karen at her email mtm8919@yahoo.com. That's Monday, Tuesday, Monday, 8919@yahoo.com. Thank you. Your generosity and gratitude are greatly appreciated.
Hello, Beacon. My name is Karen Jackson, for those of you who don't know me, and I've been the Stewardship Director at Beacon for the last 6 years. And my husband, Steve, and I have been members of Beacon for almost the last 13 years. As many of you know, we're leaving this beloved community as Steve retires this spring so that we can be closer to some of our children in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. The leadership team has graciously allowed us this chance to say goodbye to everybody. So I want to start with a story that I think many of you have heard me tell. Back in 2003, we were living in the Toronto area and we found Unitarian Universalism. We loved the denomination and the congregation from the moment we stepped in the door. But in 2007, Steve got transferred to the New York area and we were heartbroken that we were going to have to leave. And Steve turned to me at some point during the move and said, you know, you're probably never going to find another place that you love as much as this one. And I wanted to let all of you know that he was wrong. I can hardly begin to express how much this community has meant to our family and how grateful we are to have found this place and to have Beacon members, staff, and the mission in our lives. At Laura Beth's party this past Saturday, someone said to me that they were really sad to see us go. And so I let him in on a little secret, that the only reason that we've stayed in the New Jersey area for the last 7 years since we empty nested is because of Beacon. Beacon, as we heard Dave Gordon say a few months back, is truly has been our home. It's the place where we go when we're bursting to share our joys and aching to share our sorrows. And as I think back on Beacon, it's the place where we march for climate change and where at one point I walked the streets of Summit with my cell phone asking people to call their representatives about marriage equality. It's a place where we have amazing services, where we're called to be our better selves and to look at things in ways we never really thought of before. And it's a place where we helped our children and all of our children become thoughtful, caring adults. It has been the greatest joy and honor of my life to have served this community. I'm so grateful to all of you, not just for the personal support through our family's joys and sorrows, but also for allowing us to support and be part of all of the world-changing things that Beacon tries to do. I want to say a special thank you also to Beacon's amazing staff for allowing me as a volunteer to be a full member of the staff and for trusting me not to abuse that privilege. And having said that, now I'm going to betray a tiny secret about the staff that I think a lot of you already know. This place runs so well because our staff has so much trust, respect, and caring for each other. And we are so lucky and blessed to have all of them. So again, thank you to all of you. I don't know, to paraphrase Steve, if we'll ever find another place that we love as much as this one, but we'll carry all of you and our memories in our hearts forever. And we'll still be in town until early May. So we hope to get to see as many of you in person as we can before we leave. Bye-bye.
Someone at the airline company has a sense of humor, friends. On Tuesday, after realizing that our upcoming trip to Florida on April 2nd was impossible and that my 86-year-old mother-in-law really didn't want to see me, all things considered, I was placed on hold. Coldplay began singing Speed of Sound, the lyrics to which, if you've never heard before, include how long before I get in, before it starts, before I begin, how long before you decide, before I know what it feels like, where do I go? Seriously? Then, toward the end of the playlist, REM's It's the End of the World as We Know It began. A 20-minute playlist that by my count looped 4.5 times before the airline company hung up on me. If you're doing the math at home, that's approximately 1 hour and 7 minutes of listening to that loop. I smiled. Good for you, person who chooses the music for airline holdings. Good for you. Help us all cope with a little humor. How are you coping? Humor, prayer, chocolate, photos, movies, favorite recipes, singing, poetry, painting, dancing, meditating, laughing, playing, hiking, walking, bicycling, breathing, weeping, cleaning, organizing, waiting, 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 breathing. 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 Perhaps you are like me, who spent the better part of last week teetering somewhere between confidence that I am overreacting, that soon it will all be over, and a confirmation that it's the end of the world as we know it. There hasn't been much in between. And the ripple effect of this global pandemic continues to ring out. Yes, it's the markets, and it's something so much bigger. As a resource parent with DCP and P, I received a text asking if we would provide additional respite. As schools close, you see, children in foster care, many of them will likely have to be replaced because some of their foster parents may still have to work or be unable to take on the responsibility of 24/7 care without any school time. Other children on free and reduced lunch are suddenly losing 2 meals a day, both the breakfast that the school provides as well as the lunch. Yet others have no supervision for caregivers who must go into work to pay the bills. We are told stay home, but those who are unhoused at present have no home in which to stay and increasingly are pushed into the very hot centers where they are likely to contract COVID-19. Hourly workers must choose between exposure and eating and paying rent. Others are forced at home with no resources and no income. Frontline workers, nurses, doctors, EMTs, fire departments are confronting daily exposures and then going home with ethical dilemmas and worries as they try to sleep that they've exposed one of their family members. And those who have compromised immune systems or any known factors that make COVID-19 a real and present threat are self-isolating out of necessity. We have beloved members of our community, some of you who are listening now to my words, who haven't been touched by another human being in days. And that could perhaps become weeks. Some are quarantined in nursing homes, sick, while loved ones are prohibited from visiting them for what could be the last time. Anxiety and something else at these times is unfolding. Rage. And not always well-placed rage. On Wednesday, I knocked my coffee cup off the table on the way out the door. The house was empty, and so I really gave it to God. I figured he could take it. I told her exactly what I thought about everything and full Job fashion unleashed my lament all the way up to the ceiling from my pile of coffee grounds. On Thursday, I told my daughter that she'd be out of school for the next day, and she screamed with delight, "Stay home day!" Her glee stopped when she saw my face fall. I told her next that we wouldn't be going to see her grandmother in Florida. "Honey, do you know what an emergency is?" My 5-year-old daughter replied, "It means you stop everything and help each other." That seemed about right. Stop everything and help each other. On Friday, we took a hike near our house down to a literal runoff that's created by Turtleback Zoo. And the water runoff at times really gushes, and so they have graciously called this water runoff Tulip Falls. It is, to be clear, a drainage area, but nonetheless, we went for a hike to Tulip Falls. We passed a few people, some who were very furtive and serious and running and trying to hit their time. Others who were casually walking but careful on the path to keep their distance. And then there was one man, and it was clear that he had been crying. He was looking down and not really even noticing our brood of 6 quickly approaching him. 21-month-old Benjamin, completely unaware to the emergency, saw the man and with a full smile said, "Morning." "Oh, hey, hi," the man said, looking up through tears to make eye contact. We all laughed that uncomfortable laughter of recognition, of seeing each other and stopping for a moment. We even forgot what day it was, and Ella asked suddenly, "Is it Saturday?" "No," I said, "but honey, it really doesn't matter what day it is." "Okay." Stop everything and help each other. That's what day it is. On Saturday, I spoke to my biological mother via a video chat, saw her face for the second time in my 36 years of life, but for the first time that I can remember. We've been searching for each other in so many processes and reasons we never connected over 36 years, and then here is this person who looks like me and sounds like me and who cradled my life but knows nothing about me, and here we are connecting in the midst of a global pandemic. Some of you are looking to your ministers and your leaders for answers and meanings. There is so much illusion in this life. I can tell you from being a hospital chaplain for a year before I became a congregational minister that crises, emergencies, function in a family, in a system, in a hospital like a magnifying lens. Whatever was good is much more pronounced in an emergency. Whatever was bad is worse. The same, beloved, is true of a country and a world. This is magnifying it all. How are we to live in magnified times? You discover who you are when how you act becomes who you are. If we act as isolated beings whose decisions do not impact others, we become the carriers, the cause. If we stop everything and help each other, we flatten the curve and we save someone we may never meet. Have you seen the video of Italians singing together from their balconies? That sound it swells you to tears. For all the hoarded toilet paper in the United States, some in Italy in the midst of a profound epidemic and devastating loss are finding their way to sing together against the night. If we rage against one another, we become the broken, shattered shells of communities. But if we reach out through our smiles and our tears to a stranger, we just might become beloved community. If we curse the coffee cup, we are consumed. If we open the balcony and sing against the night, we are saved. On Sunday, I'm here with you, but not here with you at all. We are magnified in this, beloved. We become what we do and what we say in these days. Magnified. Maybe it's our chance to be more human, to recenter the margins, to be kind, magnified into possibility. I loved recently reading these words from one of my colleagues, Reverend Elizabeth Wen. This is the part where we commandeer cruise ships for people migrating to feast at all-you-can-eat buffets and party poolside and then split the corporate profits with the staff, right? This is the part where we teach ourselves how to make our own medicine, the kind from herbs and grandma's recipes and vaccines and antivirals and insulin and EpiPens too, right? This is the part where we open our spare rooms to the college student whose school is closed and the asylum seeker who just got out of detention and our coworker who just got evicted and the queer teen who needs a place to crash, right? This is the part where we feed lunch to the kid whose school is canceled and text the people who can't be in public spaces anymore, and we breathe, right? This is the part where we introduce ourselves to our neighbors we've been living next to for 10 years because tomorrow we might need each other, right? This is the part where we ask, what do I really need for surviving? And we find a way to seek no more and no less. Right? This is the part where we stay home, we cancel, we show up, we call, we fight, we let go, we stay. We don't let anyone go it alone, right? This is the part where we say, we mean, we elderly, we immunocompromised, we sick, we well, we in prison, we free, we who can buffer our way out with money and privilege, and we who definitely can't, right? Right. Maybe this is the moment in the movement toward a love greater than our reckoning. Maybe now we build the houses we have been longing to live in. Maybe now we audaciously abandon the normal, the way it must be for the way it should. It could be. Maybe now is the last second chance. I've played it again and again of lately, the great Joni Mitchell classic, Both Sides Now. I've looked at life, friends, from both sides now. From win and lose and still somehow. It's life, love's illusions, I recall. It's laughter through the tears in a park. It's open doors to unhoused friends. It's calls to elders and tears when the doors are closed, when the safest way is apart. It's empty grocery shelves and singing against the dark. It's you and me and beyond us yet. It's all the connections and injustices. Everything stops. We are magnified. And under this lens of our lives, we are called, wash hands for the tender truths of those like me and your beloved elder. Stay home and work for the imprisoned, the unhoused, the hungry child. Journey where you can, deliver food at door or love through a phone line. Be kind, be gentle. Everything stops. We are magnified, we are called, we are given a chance. Both sides now, beloved. Both sides now. Maybe now we know we are magnified. Maybe now we stop everything and help each other. Maybe now we stand up to bullies and tyrants. Maybe now we determine if these are the last words, what they will be. Maybe now if these are the last weeks, what they will include. Maybe now if this is the last bottle of medicine, who gets it? If this is the last hospital bed, whose body is held? If this is the last chance, what world, what kindness, what justice might roll down like waters. Let loose. Past the fear and the anxiety, the cursed cup broken, shattered open, to be anything at all. Maybe.
Sing out even the praises. Joyful, joyful light, time, love magnified.
Reach out with heart and word, hope across phone lines, sacraments of internet grace.
Maybe now we center margins. Maybe now we, not me, all of us, at last.